Hello everyone, welcome to another Tango technique class at home. I hope you are all doing fine. Today's class will be very useful for women because we will work on different techniques for our ochos back. But I also recommend that men do this class as well, because all the ideas that we see today will be also very useful for men. They will be useful anytime that you need to do a step where you cross your free leg back. For example, back sacadas, or any step that you do that looks like an ocho back, okay? So because women use ochos all the time, so often, the class will be very beneficial for them, but for us as well, okay? So these two different techniques, the first one is probably the one that you are most familiar with, because it's the one where you move your hip first, and the rotation of the hip drives the movement of the free leg. The movement of the free leg is a consequence of the movement of the hip. And the second technique is the opposite, is where you move your free leg first, and then the movement of the leg provokes the movement of the hip. The rotation of the hip is a consequence of the movement of the leg. And using one or the other will give you very different qualities for your ochos, and also will fit better different situations. To simplify, I call the first technique hip first and the second technique leg first, okay? So today we will start with our warm-up with an extra exercise at the end for our core, which will be very useful for the work afterwards. And then we will do a series of exercises where we will use each one of these two techniques in our ochos back, okay? So let's start with the warm-up. Okay, warm-up. So it will be like always with the extra exercise at the end. So we start with feet together, and just take a few seconds to relax, breathe deeply, and feel the weight of your body coming down and the pressure of the feet on the floor, okay? Legs together as if you want to press something between your knees. And then we start with the shoulder rotations, So remember, don't use the elbows, keep them relaxed, and make the circle as big as you can in every direction, Forward, up, back, and down, We do 8 slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we do big circles with both arms. Remember, the elbows should be always straight, Don't bend them. And when you open the arms, move your hands a bit behind your back so that you really stretch the chest muscles, okay? And we do it 8 times as well. 1, 2, relax the shoulders. 3, make the circle as big as you can. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now we do this one, the stretch for the torso, for the side, And because we have done this a lot, when you slide down the leg to touch your knee, you should be able by now to pass the knee, to touch a little bit below the knee, okay? And then we hold the stretch a few seconds, and then we repeat with the other arm. So you make sure that the arm is straight, Don't have it like this, half bent, straight. And then try to pass the knee, With this hand, try to pass the knee, and then we hold this stretch for a while, and then up again, okay? And we'll do it 4 times each side. So 1, go down, hold it, and up. The other side, 1, go down, hold it, and up. Sorry, it's windy outside. 2, down, hold it, and up. And 2, go down, hold it, and up. 3, go down, hold it, and up. And 3, go down, hold it, and up. And 4, down, hold it, up, and 4, go down, hold it, and up. Okay, good. Now we open the legs, we bend the knees a little bit, and we make a circle with the arms, and we do rotations of the torso, left and right. Now remember, the hip doesn't move, yeah? Don't turn the hip like this, and the head also doesn't move. Hip and head forward. And don't move the arms alone, yeah? The arms and the chest have to move together as a block, yeah? The hands are always in front of your chest, because this movement is actually not done with the arms, but it's done with the back. Okay? So we do 8 times to each side twice. 8 and 8. Okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. 8 more. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Okay, now we stretch the knees and we put our hands behind the head. Yeah? And then we bend forward until the back is parallel with the floor. And then we continue going down, letting our head hang. And then we bounce 3 times. 1, 2, 3, very relaxed. And then we stretch the back again until it's parallel with the floor again. And then we go up. And that's 1 repetition. And we do 8, okay? Very slowly. 1, go down, bounce, 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 and up. 2, and bounce, 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 and up. 3, and bounce, 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 and up. And 4, bounce, 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 and up. And 5, bounce, 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 and up. And 6, bounce, 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 and up. And 7, bounce, 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 and up. And 8, bounce, 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 and up. Okay? Good. Now, we close our legs really tight, including the feet. The feet are together and parallel. Okay? And then from here, we bend our knees and we bounce 3 times. Very relaxed. Yeah? Be careful that your hip stays straight when you go down. Yeah? That it doesn't go back or forward. Yeah? Straight. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Then we stretch the knees, we go up, we push the floor with the toes really strong. We block the joint of the foot so that it's easier to stay up. We make our core tight, and then we hold it a few seconds, and then we go down, and then we bounce again 3 times. Yeah? So we do it 8 times. So bend the knees, 1, bounce, 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 stretch the knees, go up, hold it, 1, 2, 3, and go down. Okay? 2, bounce, 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 go up, hold it, and go down. 3, bounce, 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 stretch the knees, go up, press the floor, hold, and down. 4, bounce, 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 go up, hold it, go down. 5, bounce, 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 go up, hold it, and go down. 6, bounce, 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 go up, push the floor, and go down. 7, bounce, 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 go up, hold it, and go down. Control, slowly, yeah? Bounce, bounce, bounce. The last one, 8, go up, hold it, and when you go down, don't drop, yeah? Just go down slowly, controlled, okay? This will make your lower leg really strong, which is great for tango. And the last exercise is like this. I will show you from the front and I will be your mirror because the exercise is easy to follow, so I don't need to show you from behind, yeah? You will stand on one foot. Now, to mirror me, you can stand on your right, okay? It's okay. And the free foot you keep close to the standing foot, yeah? Together, both legs together. And the idea is to rotate your hip, to turn your hip to one side and to the other to make a small pivot on the floor, yeah? Now, in order to do this, you need to start with a small movement, a small rotation of the torso to initiate the movement with the torso, and then you can move the hip. But try not to do this rotation of the torso too big. Don't do this. Yeah, this is not the idea. The idea is, because then you are not working with the core as much as you should. So the idea is to make the movement very small, and then the big movement is with the hip. And then to the other side is the same. Now you are here, so you do a small movement with the torso, as small as you can, and then you rotate the hip, okay? So we will do it 8 times to each side, okay? So start with one leg, this leg, and then let's do it 8 times together. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and. Okay? Now change weight to the other leg, feet together, and let's start 8 times with this leg. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and. Okay? Let's do it one more time. 8 times with each leg. Yeah? Just because this exercise will be very useful for later. So follow me 8 times more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? Change weight, and now let's do the other leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Okay, great. So we are ready. Let's go for the first exercise for our ochos back. Okay, first exercise for ochos back using the hip first technique. So I will show you to the wall. We will do each exercise twice. First, we will do it with support on the wall, and then we will do it on our own, okay? With our own balance. So first, let's use support on the wall. So when you support yourself on the wall, just put the fingers, yeah? Don't put the whole hand. Put the fingers at the height of the shoulder. Don't put them too up or too low. Here is fine, it is the best place, yeah? And then don't lean on the wall and don't raise the elbows like this, yeah? Because then that's going to give you a bad technique, the wrong technique. So just put the fingers, yeah? Light support, keep the elbows low and find your axis, yeah? Because the wall is just a little help, nothing more, okay? Now, the idea is you put your weight on the left and you bend the knee, yeah? The whole exercise we will do with the knee flexed, okay? Then the free foot is together with the standing leg in this pretty zero position, pretty because it's not parallel, yeah? It's a bit behind, you see? The heel goes a bit behind, yeah? This is prettier. Okay, and then without moving the torso, or at least moving it as little as possible, you turn the hip away from the wall, and then you project the leg until it's straight. And then you close the leg again in zero, pretty zero, and then turn the hip to the wall again. Yeah? That's why it's hip first. Because first is the hip, then is the leg. Close the leg, turn the hip. Hip first, leg, close leg, hip. Okay? Now, how does this work with the metronome? Because we will use, as always, are 58 BPM with 2 beats per bar. 1, 2, 1, 2. So the movement of the leg, this one, when you project the leg, that's supposed to be the 1, the strong beat. 1, 2, leg. Yeah? That means that the rotation of the hip that comes before has to be on the and, yeah? On the 2, on the previous 2. And 1. So the exercise with the tempo will be like this. And 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, yeah? And 1. This is the main movement. And 2. Okay? So we will do it 8 times, first projecting with right, then projecting with left, and then we will repeat it again, but without using the wall. Okay? So let's do it together 8 times. And one last tip is, because the tempo is slow, when you project the leg, do it slowly. Don't shoot the leg and keep it there frozen until the next beat comes. Try to use the whole time that you have between beats to move the leg, yeah? So that you are always in movement, okay? So let's do it together. Weight on the left, support light on the wall, and let's do it 8 times. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Okay? Now 8 times projecting with the left leg. So weight on the right, bend the knee, find your axis, and then 8 times with left. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Okay? Good. Great. It's very important that you don't mix the movement, yeah? Don't project the leg until the hip is completely rotated, yeah? Don't start to move the leg meanwhile you are rotating the hip, especially now that the tempo is so low, okay? Good. Now we'll do the same without the wall. So, weight on the left, yeah? And I will use the embrace of the woman, but if you're a man doing this class, you can use also the embrace of the man, yeah? And just do it like this, yeah? I will do it like this. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's do it 8 times together without the wall. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Okay, yeah? Sorry, the floor is humid, there is humidity, and the shoes get a bit loud, so I hope it doesn't disturb you, yeah? Okay, let's do it 8 times with our weight on the right leg. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Okay? Great. So, A few tips for when you do it without support. First of all, of course it's hard when you don't have any support to turn your hip slowly. Yeah? The leg is no problem. The leg you can move slowly because that's just moving the free leg. But the hip, yeah, there is a strong tendency to move it very fast. Yeah? So the trick to be able to move your hip a bit slower without support is to press with your standing leg on the floor as much as you can. It's like your standing leg is a screwdriver, yeah, that twists and goes deep down, screwing itself into the ground, yeah, like this. Whoa, yeah, and then you can twist the hip a bit slower. Yeah, so bend the knee and press the floor during the pivot, and then you can do this rotation with the hip a bit more controlled. Okay, so let's go to the next exercise. Okay, the next exercise will be the same as what we did before, but twice as fast. So the first thing we need to do is to put an extra subdivision on our metronome like this. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Yeah, so the and is an extra subdivision between beats. Yeah, because we will use now this double time or half time. I prefer to call it half time for our movement. It's going to be like this. So, and 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, yeah? You see? It's double as fast. But the technique is the same. It's hip first and then leg. Hip, leg, leg, hip, hip, leg, leg, hip, hip, leg, leg, hip, okay? Try not to move the torso, yeah? Don't do this. Yeah? Don't do this with the shoulders. You are not supposed to be working with the shoulders. You are supposed to be working with the core. Yeah? The core is doing this work. The core and not the shoulders. Yeah? This part is twisting. Okay? So we will do it the same as before. Now, but double amount of times as well. We will do it 16 times with each leg. Okay? 16 times projecting with right, then projecting with left, and then 16 times again with each leg without the wall. Okay? So let's do it first with the wall, but remember, don't lean too much on it. Yeah? Just use the fingers. Yeah? Just the fingers, very light support. Okay, 16 times projecting with right leg. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Now we do it projecting with the left. So bend the right leg, yeah, and we do it together 16 times. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Good. Now, without the wall, so now you really have to push the floor with your standing leg and use the core. Yeah? 16 times. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Now we will put our weight on the right and project with the left. 16 times. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. You see, this is also good for men because this is a back sacada, and if you do this regularly, your back sacadas will improve a lot. Okay? So let's go to the next exercise. Okay, so in this exercise we will do a full ocho slowly. Yeah? So the sequence of movements works like this. First with support on the wall. The ocho will be made of 4 movements. The first one is the hip. Yeah? You rotate the hip away from the wall. The second is the projection of the leg. Yeah? But you are still on this axis. The third is the transfer of weight. Yeah? When you transfer the weight, make sure that the torso stays straight and is moving parallel to the floor. Yeah? Don't go down or do anything else, just parallel to the floor. And the last movement, the fourth, is closing the leg, closing the free leg. Yeah? Moving the foot on the floor. Yeah? And then you start again. Hip, leg, transfer of weight, close. Rotate the hip, project the free leg, transfer the weight, and close the free leg. Hip, project, transfer, close. Hip, project, transfer, close. Okay? Very clean, very separated. For example, don't mix the projection of the leg with the transfer of weight. Yeah? Sometimes it's very tempting, very easy to start transferring the weight while you are projecting. Yeah? And most of the time it will work, but it's not good technique, because if you have to do this fast, like we will do afterwards, you will always have the feeling that you are falling into the step, that this is happening. Yeah? You are falling. So now that you have time and that you are practicing without the partner, yeah, now you can really make everything very clean, and then first project completely and then transfer the weight. Yeah? 2 separate things. Okay, now the last tip. How does this work with the metronome? So remember that when you project the leg, yeah, when you do this movement, that's the 1, yeah, that's the main beat. 1, yeah, that means that the hip has to come on the and before. So it's and 1, and 2, yeah. So the 4 movements work like this: and 1, and 2. Hip, project, transfer, close. And 1, and 2. And 1, and 2. Yeah? And as I said before, now that we are using a slow tempo, try to adjust the speed, especially of your free leg, so that you are always in movement. Don't do the exercise like this. And 1, and 2. Yeah, so cut. No. Try to maintain movement during all the time. And 1, and 2, and 1, and 2. Yeah, you see, you move slowly and you connect the movements. You don't mix them, but you connect them. Yeah, that's the idea. Okay, so let's do it first with support. 8 times to each side with the metronome. So it doesn't matter from which side you start, but let's start from the standing leg, the weight on the left. Yeah? So we will project with the right. Okay, 8 times to each side. And 1. And 1. And 2. And 2. and 3, and 3, and 4, and 4, and 5, and 5, and 6, and 6, and 7, and 7, and 8, and 8, and. Okay? You see, you do the whole exercise very low, yeah? Bending the knees a lot, yeah? Here. Don't go up, yeah? Stay low, yeah? Okay, and one tip, one important tip. When you do the step, yeah? When you project the leg, be very careful with the position of your foot, because you have another pivot coming. There is a strong tendency to put this foot looking inside, yeah? You see? Instead of outside. This looks bad, but we all do this because we are preparing the other pivot. So try to resist that temptation. Try to put the foot on the floor and turn the foot outside. You touch the floor with the big toe, yeah? And the heel of the foot is towards the inside, yeah? Towards you. Okay, like this. And then you transfer the weight. And this is much better than this. Okay, so be careful with that. So now we will do it again without the wall. Yeah? 8 times to each side. So get ready, weight on the left, bend the knee. Now it's very important, be close to the floor, and then let's start all together. And 1, and 1, and 2, and 2, and 3, and 3, and 4, and 4, and 5, and 5, and 6, and 6, and 7, and 7, and 8, and 8, and. Okay? Sorry for the squeaky shoes. Good. Let's go to the next exercise. Okay, in this exercise we will do the full ocho back in half time using the hip first technique. So the first thing we need is to set extra subdivision in our metronome, in our beat. So it sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 1 and. Yeah, the and is the subdivision because we will use this. We will use this subdivision to move our hip. The sequence is the same, yeah? You do hip, project, transfer, close. Hip, project, transfer, close. But now you do it in half time. And 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and 1 and 2. But it's the same technique, yeah? Hip, project, transfer, close. Hip, project, transfer, close. Hip, project, transfer, close, yeah? Especially now that we're working faster, don't mix the projection with the transfer of weight, yeah? Because it will look like this. Boom! And you will have the feeling you are falling, yeah? So try to separate the movements, yeah? Project, transfer, yeah? Project, transfer. First project, then transfer. And now that the tempo is faster, the second thing that you have to be careful with is the foot. Like I said before, when you step, don't turn the foot to the inside because you are preparing the next pivot. No. When you project, make sure that the foot, yeah, is turned outside, yeah, like this, touching the floor with the big toe and with the heel going inside, yeah, not like this, because this, apart from the fact that it looks bad, yeah, it gives you a very bad support when you put your weight on this leg, and then you will need this leg very fast, you know, immediately to catch yourself. So it's much better technique to have the foot looking outside, and then this gives you a very good support. Okay, then you can do the pivot, no problem, and then the same here, foot outside, yeah, boom, yeah. It's harder to do it when you dance fast, but try, okay? So as before, we will do it 16 times to each side, first with the wall and then on our own, okay? So let's start. So get ready, 16 times, feet together, only the fingers on the wall and put them quite low, yeah? Don't put them here, put them quite low. Put your weight on the left, then bend the knee and do the whole exercise really low, yeah? This will help you. And we project with the right, 16 times. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, 8 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Good. Now let's do the same, but without the wall, yeah? So put your weight on the left, like we did before, and wish me luck. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? If you are struggling with this exercise at this speed, yeah, I give you a few survival tips for this exercise at this speed. Yeah, the first thing, when you are doing pivots behind you, yeah, there is a strong tendency to follow with the arms. Yeah, so when you do the pivot, the arm opens as well. Yeah, and then you have this. You open the arms, so that will bring your axis behind you. You will fall backwards. So try to do the pivot, but keep the arms always in front. Yeah? When you do the pivot, keep the arms in front. Keep the arms in front, always in front. Yeah? Because this is also what will happen when you dance. The partner will stay in front of you. So you have to keep your arms on the partner no matter what you do with your hips, okay? The second tip, it really helps to do the whole exercise low, especially for this technique, yeah? Just do the whole exercise really low, really low, really low. And this will help you with balance. And the third tip, and this one is the hardest, but it really helps, is what I said before about the free foot, yeah? That you put it a bit outside. If you manage to put your foot in this position, the transfer of weight is much smoother, yeah? It's much cleaner. And then it gives you more confidence to do it fast, yeah? It's all about putting the free foot in the right position. If you put it like this, forget about it. You will lose the balance, you will lose the tempo, okay? So these three tips are important. Okay, let's go for the next exercise. Okay, so now we will repeat all the exercises that we did, but using the second technique, which is leg first, yeah? We will start with the half back ocho slowly. So how does this work? First of all, you won't need to bend the knee so much anymore. Yeah, you can keep your standing leg quite straight, not completely straight, yeah, not stretched completely, but comfortably bent. Yeah, definitely not like this. Yeah, like this. Okay. The second thing is that when you start the exercise, instead of moving the hip, you will move the leg. How? So in a circle, yeah, you will do a circle with the foot that starts in zero position, then grows bigger, and then ends with your leg crossed behind. Yeah? So the movement is like this. From zero, circle, back. Yeah? Until you can't move the leg anymore. When you reach the limit here, that's when you use the hip to finish the movement. Yeah? And the movement of the hip will come from the impulse of the leg. So you move the leg, and the leg moves the hip at the end. Yeah? That's the idea. Leg, hip. Yeah? You see, it's the opposite of before. Leg, hip. Now, how do you come back? When you are here, don't turn the hip to the wall. Instead of that, move the leg. Yeah? Like this. So the leg is retracing the circle back to zero position. Yeah? And this circle, you do it with the free leg very relaxed. Very relaxed, yeah, like this, so that this movement generates the movement of the hip at the end, yeah? You see, so it's leg, hip, leg, hip, leg, hip, leg, hip, yeah? You see, it's completely different from the other ocho, and it's very beautiful. It's a very beautiful alternative technique, yeah? Okay, so we will do one leg at a time. And how does this work with the music is the same idea as before, but now we will change when we move the hip and when we move the leg. Because before, if you remember, the hip was the and the leg projecting was the one. Now it's the opposite. The leg is the and the hip is the one. Yeah? So it's like this. And one, and two. And one, and two, leg, hip, yeah? Okay? So it's the same idea, yeah? The first movement is always the and the second is the one, but now the leg is the first movement, not the hip, okay? I hope that's clear. Anyway, we will do it together now. We will use again the simple beat without subdivisions. 1, 2, leg, hip, okay? And we will do it 8 times with each leg, first with support and then without support, okay? So now put the fingers on the wall, low, keep the elbows relaxed, weight on the left leg, and the ocho will be much smaller than the previous one with the hip first, yeah? But that's fine, that's actually a good thing. Okay, let's do it 8 times, going with the right. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Okay? Great. Let's do it with the leg. Put your weight on the right, and remember to do the movement with the free leg very relaxed. Yeah, it's like a pendulum. Yeah, because the more relaxed it is, the more realistic will be that the weight of the leg turns your hip at the end. Yeah, the movement of the hip should have no force at all. It should come from the leg. Yeah, that's the idea. Okay, let's do it 8 times. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Okay, yeah? Now let's do it again, going with right, but without the wall. Yeah? Okay, get ready, 8 times. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Okay, now with the other leg. Weight on the right, we go with the left. 8 times. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Okay? So remember to not mix movements, yeah? Try to fight the temptation to start the pivot too early. First, you should really move the leg completely until you can't anymore, and then this movement will generate the pivot at the end. The same here. Don't start the pivot too early, yeah? Move the leg until you can't anymore, and then this movement generates the pivot at the end, okay? And one last thing, if you're a man and you're doing this exercise, you might be wondering, why is this useful for me? When am I going to use this? And the answer is that yes, it is useful because, for example, if you're doing an ocho back to do a back sacada, yeah, that would be the hip first technique, hip leg, and then you go to the back sacada. You might not want to do a back sacada with this movement. You might want instead to catch the foot of the woman. Yeah? So when you do a back sacada, as you know, your foot has to go in between the feet of the woman. Yeah? But when you want to catch her foot, your foot has to come from the outside and then catch one of the feet of the woman. So the movement is different. It's leg first, leg and hip. Yeah? You see, back sacada is hip first, hip, leg, back sacada. Catch her foot is the opposite. Is leg, hip, catch her foot. You see? So this is to answer the question of why men benefit from learning technique that usually belongs to women. I believe that there are many principles of technique that apply to both in the same way, and that even if it doesn't look like, as a man you can benefit from a lot of the technique that the woman needs for her dancing. Yeah, there are many ideas that are unisex. Yeah, of course there are movements that belong to the man, and movements that belong to the woman. Of course, there are movements that look better on a woman and movements that look better on a man. But we are talking about the technique here, the technique. And the technique is the same for both, okay? Good, sorry for the ranting. Let's go to the next exercise. Okay, in this exercise we will do the same that we did before, but in half time. So the first thing we need is to set an extra subdivision in our metronome, because we will use it for the leg now, yeah? And 1, and 2, and 1, and 2. So how the exercise works now is the same. You start with your weight on the left, and then you move the leg in order to move the hip. But now it's in half time, it's like this. Leg, hip, leg, hip, leg, hip, leg, hip, leg, hip, yeah? So it's very important that you really relax the leg, yeah? Relax it completely and let the swing of the leg move your hip, yeah? Don't worry about your hip at all. You have to worry about your leg, yeah? 1. Especially when you're here, don't turn the hip. Move the leg, yeah? Relax the leg and let this movement bring your hip to the wall, okay? So we will do it again as before, 8 times with each leg, first with the wall, then without the wall, okay? So put your fingers on the wall, weight on the left, and we go with the right. 16 times because we are working in half time. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah? You might feel strange with this technique because you are used to respond with the hip first. But this is all about responding with the leg. Yeah? This is an ocho where you really go with the leg. Okay? So let's do it with the other leg. Yeah? Weight on the right and we go with the left 16 times. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? One thing, because now we are working faster, if your foot flies a little bit, yeah, so it leaves the floor a little bit here, yeah, on this part of the movement, also here, don't worry about it, yeah, let it fly a little bit. Of course, don't lift it too much, yeah, but just allow it to leave the floor a little bit because of the natural impulse of the leg, yeah. This is really not wrong, this will look good later. Okay, so now let's do it again without the wall. Yeah, so put your weight on the left and we go with the right 16 times. And really, worry only about your leg. Don't worry too much about the hip. Okay? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Remember the tip to keep the arms forward when your hip opens. Yeah? Don't follow the hip with the arm. Okay? Let's do it now with the other leg. Weight on the right. 16 times going with the left. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, great. Let's go to the next exercise. Okay, so in this exercise we will do the full ocho, slowly with leg first. Yeah? So how does this work? It's like this. The first movement, you stand on one leg, and the first movement is the leg. Yeah? Like we did before. So, leg, hip. That's the first two movements. After the hip, then comes the transfer of weight. Yeah? We will use one beat only for the transfer of weight. And the last movement, the fourth movement, is closing the foot. Yeah? So it's leg, hip, transfer, close. Leg, hip, transfer, close. Okay? Now, let's look at what happens at the end of the combination. Look. Leg, hip, transfer, close. Now, you want to do the next ocho, yeah? But your hip is looking in this direction, yeah? So parallel with the wall, that way. But now you want to do the next ocho using the leg first. So how do you do that? Well, first, when you close the foot, don't close on zero position, yeah? On a tight zero position. This technique doesn't need that, yeah? What you do is that you move your foot in a straight line, yeah? Parallel to the wall, like this, yeah? Without closing on zero. And this is between you and the partner. The leg is moving between you and the partner. So don't worry because you won't touch him, yeah? And then when the foot is more or less here, yeah? That's when you move the leg around the standing leg in a circle. Whoa. And this movement is what turns your hip, yeah? So you transfer the weight, you close the leg, but you don't go on zero position, you just keep going, and then you move the leg around the standing leg, and then you give it a bit of swing so that it takes the hip, yeah? One, pow. That's the idea, yeah? Now, with the metronome, it works exactly like before. The leg, which is the first movement, has to be on the and then the hip will be the one. And 1, 2 is the transfer of weight, and 3 is closing your free foot. 3, yeah? And 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, leg, hip, transfer, close. Leg, hip, transfer, close. Leg, hip, transfer, close. And so on, yeah? Okay, so like before, let's do it 8 times with to each side, yeah? First with the wall and then without the wall, okay? So let's do it together with a slow tempo. Just the fingers, yeah? Low and with elbows relaxed. Put your weight on the left and we go with the right. And 1. And 1. And 2. And 2. And 3. And 3. And 4. And 4. And 5. And 5. And 6. And 6. And 7. And 7. And 8. And 8. Okay? Good. Now let's do it without the wall. And 1. And 1. And 2. And 2. And 3. And 3. And 4. And 4. And 5. And 5. And 6. And 6. And 7. And 7. And 8. And 8. Okay? So remember the tips. When you are throwing the leg back, don't let the arm open. Yeah? Keep the arm always forward, no matter how far your hip goes. Yeah? When you step, avoid this. Yeah? Step with the big toe. If you feel your little toes on the floor, that's wrong. You have to feel your big toe on the floor. Yeah? Those are the tips. Okay, let's go to the next exercise. Okay, in the last exercise we will do the full back ocho with leg first, fast. So the first thing we need to do is to set another subdivision in our metronome. And 1, and 2, and 1, because on the and, this extra subdivision, we will be moving our leg. Yeah? And the technique is the same as before, it's just faster. Yeah? So it's leg, hip, and then transfer of weight. Yeah? First movement is leg, second movement is hip, third movement is transfer of weight, fourth movement is closing the foot. And from here you use the leg again. Yeah? Leg, hip, transfer, close. Leg, hip, transfer, close. Leg, hip, transfer, close. Leg, hip, transfer, close. Okay? So as before, we will do it 16 times because now we are working faster with the wall, and then 16 times without the wall. Okay? So let's go for it. Remember to relax the leg and to really not worry about your hip. Let the whole ocho work from the leg. From the leg. That's the most important idea. Okay? Let's go. Weight on the left, and we start with the right. 16 times. And 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8. 8 more. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8. Okay? Great. Now we do it without the wall, and remember, the most important thing here is to relax the leg, and when you change weight, make sure that you touch the floor with the big toe and that your foot is turned outside. Yeah? I will never repeat this enough. Yeah? Because it's very important and everybody does this mistake. So do it like this. Yeah? It takes a bit more effort, but then the transfer of weight is smoother because this foot can support you really well when it's in this position. Okay? So let's do it without the wall 16 times. and 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8 more, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8. Okay, a bit of extra work today, yeah? Anyway, it's good for you. Good, so that was it. Back ochos with hip first and with leg first. And remember, important, so as a woman, how do you know when to use which one? So this is connected to the kind of embrace that you have and the style of dancing of the man. For example, the man can lead you back ochos in two ways. Basically, he can lead your pivot before the step for the back ocho, or he can just go himself without almost leaving any pivot. So when he leads the pivot, usually the man leads the pivot, goes low and does a big step. Yeah, it's this way of leading the ocho. Yeah, I lead the pivot, I go low, and I do a big step. Yeah. If I do this with you, yeah, you have to use the hip first technique. Hip first. This is the ocho that fits with this lead, where the man goes low and leads the pivot. Okay? And usually this ocho is very wide. Yeah? But I could also lead the pivot differently. For example, the ocho back differently. I don't lead the pivot so much, or almost nothing at all, and I don't go down, and my step is not so big, is small. So it's more like this. Yeah? If I do this with you, yeah, this way of leading, this goes very well with the ocho with leg first. Yeah? Leg first. This is the ocho. You see, you are more up, your hip moves at the end, and you start the movement from the leg. So usually this ocho you would also do in close embrace. Yeah? You are in close embrace and you move the leg first. Yeah? This looks really beautiful. For the other ocho, you are in open embrace. Yeah? And you are moving the hip first, and then you go like this. Yeah? So you see these two ochos are completely different, and they give very, very different feelings, and also they look very different, but they are both very beautiful. The first one with leg first is more intimate, is softer, it looks very elegant. The second with hip first is much bigger, is more spectacular, is more dynamic. Yeah? Okay, and for the man, remember, you can also use the same technique. If you use hip first, you're doing a back sacada to the woman. For example, if you're using leg first, you are catching her foot, yeah, in order to do a gancho or a pasada or whatever you want, okay? So, I hope you enjoyed this class, and in the next video we will do the same thing but with ochos forward, which is very interesting. Okay, see you there.